Welcome to the Radiant Life podcast. I am your host, Tatiana, and I am a master mindset coach, and I'm obsessed with empowering you to live and create your best life possible. If you're looking to uplevel your mindset, life, happiness, and success, then you are in the right place. My goal with this podcast is to help you see the potential within yourself, to be able to break the limiting beliefs and habits that are holding you back, and to help you feel inspired to get clear with who you are in order to create the life you desire. Thank you so much for listening. Now let's get into today's episode. Do you want to make 2022 your best year yet? Are you interested in learning how to get clear and aligned with your goals and learn how to manifest them into your reality easily? If so, I invite you to join my free 5-day workshop, Radiate into the New Year, where I will teach you my signature method on how to release the stuff that is holding you back in the past and how to create goals effectively so that you can reach them and manifest them into your life by becoming an energetic match to them. The workshop starts January 9th, and this sounds like your vibe and you're ready to take 2022 into your control and make it your best year yet. Join us. It's going to be so epic, and I'm so excited to help you reach all of your heart's desires. You can sign up now by using the link in my bio, and I hope to see you there. Hello, welcome to the Radiant Life podcast. I can't believe I'm even sitting down and recording this episode right now, because that means 2021 is coming to a close and 2022 is about to begin. And that is crazy. I feel like this year has just gone by in the blink of an eye. You too. I hope I'm not the only one. But with every year coming to a close, what I do is I reflect and I check what lessons did this year bring me. Because if you do not learn the lessons that this year has brought you, they're always here for an opportunity for you to grow. And if you don't actually learn the lessons and implement them, unfortunately, you will attract very similar, if not the same person, situation, challenge in your life until you actually learn the lesson. And I speak this from experience. There's been many times where I'm like, oh my goodness, Tati, how many times are you going to have to go through a similar situation to learn the damn lesson? So I'm all for setting New Year's goals and everything. I love that. But I always preach to my clients, reflect, learn the lessons, see how much you've grown. And I think I put it into practice this year, or I believe maybe it was 2020. I can't even remember. I feel like these 2 years kind of blend into one. Every time I learned a lesson, and when I would remember, I would do my best. In my journal, I would literally star it, underline it, and write lesson in all capital letters to make it easier for me when I would do my year-end reflections, or I would go in my notes and take a look at that. So what I did, today's episode, is I kind of compiled the list of lessons that I had in my journal from the beginning of 2021 till this date. And honestly, I was going to order them most important to least important. And I'm just going to go with the flow of when they kind of came into my life. As you know, the back end, summer and fall of 2021 was challenging for me. And so some of the lessons go a little bit deeper and they get a little bit more personal. But at the end of the day, this is what 2021 has brought me. And I believe me sharing my lessons with the others can help you. Sorry, I just had to take a second because that dog was barking so loud in my hallway. But I believe if I share my lessons with you and everybody else, if we share our lessons with each other, maybe I can save you from a challenge or a bad situation. And you can learn a lesson without having to actually experience it. You feel me? So let's go into it. So my first lesson is be honest and speak my truth even when it's scary. Because, there was times throughout the year, this wasn't even a one-time thing, where I had to have some really uncomfortable conversations, not only with myself, but with others. But I had to speak my truth. And I was so scared. I would get worked up. I would sweat. I would create these scenarios in our heads. And a lesson for me was we make the situation or the outcome or the what if that goes horribly worse in our heads than what typically happens. So by experiencing this a few times this year, I realized speaking your truth, even if it's scary, will set me free. And that I will probably make the situation up worse in my head than what it's actually going to be in reality. So I really have learned to kind of quiet that voice of thinking the worst case scenario, taking a few deep breaths and saying, I need to be in integrity. I need to show up as my authentic, true self. And their response, their reaction, that's on them. But at least I can walk away from the situation knowing I spoke my truth and I was honest. So that was a huge lesson for me this year. Trust me, it was scary. A lot of things I had to heal and let go of from the past and conversations. But I learned the lesson. And I'm moving forward. And it's been so much easier with the more embodiment and practice that I've done with that. This next lesson is funny. If you're watching me on my Instagram, you watched the series play out. I think this was in like February. Was please, this one can save you guys. Do not bring your entire wallet out to the bar. Don't do it. I did not listen to my intuition on this one. So because I had like a gut hit, like, oh, should I bring my whole wallet to the bar? But I had like this fanny pack thing on. And I was like, oh, it fits. We're fine. Didn't listen to my gut nudge. I went to the bar, had a great time. I was dancing. And then I came home and realized my wallet was missing from my fanny pack. So that means somebody was close enough, clearly, when I was dancing, not paying attention, to unzip my fanny pack and grab my wallet. And I lost. There was cash in there. There was gift cards in there. So don't bring your entire wallet. Just bring one credit card, your license, maybe like $20. And that kind of brought me into another lesson was don't put all your gift cards into one wallet and to use gift cards when you get them. I'm hashtag a guilty hoarder sometimes, and I'll get these gift cards and I'll like put them in my wallet or I'll put them somewhere else and I don't use them. And then like the next year comes around and it's like my birthday or Christmas and I get more gift cards. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even used these gift cards. Use the damn gift cards. It doesn't matter if you don't need anything in that moment. Just go, you deserve to be celebrated. Go buy yourself an outfit. Go buy yourself an air fryer. Spend the gift cards. Because if not, if you were like me and you lose your whole wallet, you're going to lose all the gift cards anyways. So those were lessons for me. Funny me. Okay. Let's go to the next lesson. You attract what you expect, not what you want. I've been really trying to touch base with manifestation, really like practicing and trying things out, right? Because like manifestation has been like a buzzword this year, but I've been learning about it since 2016, 2017. And I have realized that you do not attract what you want. You attract what you expect, because you can put out what you want, you decide, you declare, but then your mind takes over and you will focus on a subconscious basis of what you expect will happen based on your subconscious programming and beliefs. And typically the expectations are negative or the opposite. So you want to really learn to bring your expectations into alignment to what it is you desire. And that means taking control of your thoughts by observing them and shifting them when they don't serve you. And honestly, just trusting that the universe has already taken your order, your wish list, and surrendering to the process. And just expect it. Live as if it's already yours. This brings me into my next lesson, which was huge this year, and it still is. This year, one of my biggest lessons was to surrender and let go of control. Whether that is with my desires, whether that is with my plans with my business or my personal life, if things didn't go as according to plan. I'm a really type A planner. A big lesson for me was to surrender and let go, and that God's got my back. And this is easier said than done, but it was a huge lesson that literally has showed up over and over again in many different ways for me to do that. And Costa Rica was a huge one. If you haven't listened to that one, go listen to that episode with my Costa Rica lessons, because that was like a list of lessons. It was insane. I didn't really add my Costa Rica lessons in this one because I already recorded a podcast in that one, but there was like three lessons I really they're funny ones that I wanted to add into this one. That if you're in a foreign country, always check directions first, and that Waze works when you have Wi-Fi. So plug your destination in when you're at a Wi-Fi location, and you can still travel amongst the country or wherever you're going, without Wi-Fi. This saved me so much in Costa Rica. We got lost in the jungle. Go listen to those episodes. Second one was always do a backup on your computer, like a double backup. Like get an external hard drive, back up your computer onto that external hard drive, and then buy another external hard drive and buy another one. Especially if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, do it. That when I was on the phone, oh my God, trying to get my data retrieved, they're like, yeah, a backup isn't a true backup unless you have it backed up onto two devices. So there you go. You're welcome. And that one really brought me the deeper lesson of to be less attached to material things, pictures, computer, videos. Like, yeah, it sucks and they're memories, but like it really taught me to be like, okay, I got to be more present in the moment and keep the memory in my head, because it can easily go in a second. Cool. This was a huge lesson for me, and this is kind of like gets a little personal, but I really learned this year that communication is key. But the thing with it is there's going to be a learning one on this one, is it's effective communication. Because I took pride in myself that I'm open, I'm an open book, I'm honest, I express myself. But I learned, especially with people in my personal life, friends, family, relationship, I would communicate in a way where I wasn't saying it word for word. Like I wasn't being super blunt about it. And that led me into another lesson, which I will share in a second. But I wasn't as much of an effective communicator when it came to things in my personal life. And so what I relearned this year, and I wanted to give this a teaching point to you, was there's a literal and there's an inferential speaker and listener. So a literal is like you ask more questions for specifics, right? So some people, if you say, oh, I'm thirsty, someone will hear that. Like that's not that specific, right? So someone will hear that, and there will be one person, a literal person, be like, oh, do you want a glass of water? By just making the assumption because you said you're thirsty. Or an inferential will just be like, okay, cool, right? Like you didn't specifically say, I would like a glass of water, I am thirsty. You just made a comment that you were thirsty, right? So be more specific. Speak word for word. And don't assume the other person knows what you want or how you feel. That was a huge lesson for me. Don't make the assumptions. I know the concept of not making assumptions, but when it came to communication, this was a really big lesson for me. It was a slap in the face. So, yeah. Okay. These next lessons going forward are a little bit more on my personal end. I did go through a lot of things in my personal life regarding my relationship where we did separate and I moved into my own apartment. So some of these kind of stem from there. And so I hope you can take these lessons to apply to your relationships to help save you. And the communication was a big one. Second one is I learned that I'm okay alone. And I learned that I really need to make sure and check in on myself to make sure I'm fully happy and whole on my own first. And that I can't expect others to assume that I am having a need that is unmet, whether I'm not meeting it from myself or others. And that I really need to make sure I am checking in with myself and to do it on my own. You see, I really preach self-care and personal time, and that was what I still did, but I wasn't being super intentional about it. And there was a month span that I was overworking with my business, with life. I had no personal space. I really didn't have alone time. I'm an extrovert. I love being around people, my sister, my boyfriend. Like I was just constantly around people, and I hit burnout. And I realized after I hit a wall and I shut down was, oh wow, I really wasn't taking care of myself, and I wasn't really listening to some needs that were unmet from myself. And I learned that I need to do that first. I need to check in with myself. And ultimately, I'm okay alone. We are human beings and we need to be whole first before or in a relationship. Like your partner is not meant to be your other half. You're two wholes coming together, making each other stronger, not two halves coming together. That's my personal belief. Okay. Speaking about check-ins, I learned that couples, maybe even friendships or business partners, but couples primarily do weekly check-ins. How are you feeling this week? Did I support you? Did you feel my love? Is there anything I could do? And that kind of comes into the communication lesson that I learned. I didn't do weekly check-ins, and I remember watching this video of this couple like expressing that that's really what helped save their relationship, and I was like, wow, that's cool. You see, I didn't really fully look up to the most successful relationships growing up. My parents are divorced, and we're open people, but I didn't fully watch relationships. I mean, of course, maybe it was behind closed doors, effectively communicate and do weekly check-ins, where I wasn't taught this, right? So these are just lessons I learned this year, and I hope that you can apply these lessons for yourself and your partners and your relationships. Another lesson was to be more present and appreciate what I have right now. The subconscious mind is constantly seeking for more. What can I do better? What can I seek more? And that's great and all, but you need to remember the current moment you're in is what you used to pray for. So appreciate it and be grateful for it. Whew, this one's a little hard, but I realized this year that I didn't fully trust myself. And that's where my indecisiveness, that was the root. I was indecisive. I do believe I can see multiple possibilities, which is a blessing and a curse. But I've noticed this year and I learned that I didn't fully trust myself. So I've really been working on that trust and making the right decisions and knowing that there is no right or wrong decision. It's just the best decision at this moment with the resources that I have. I hope that one resonates a little bit. This next one is in bold and in all caps because this was definitely the number one lesson of this year. I need alone time and I need space. And it does not matter how extroverted I am. I need alone time and I need space and intentional space to check in on myself. Especially with the work I do, I'm constantly absorbing energy of others, helping others, doing their inner work. And I don't want to say I neglected my own space and time. I just wasn't being super intentional about it because I just cared so much on doing so much for other people that I thought I was filling my cup up enough until like my world kind of like shattered and it wasn't. So I realized that was like a huge lesson. Like it doesn't matter how extroverted I am. I still need like intentional long periods of time and space. And that's what Costa Rica gave me. And it was beautiful. I also learned that I have high expectations and that they won't be filled without communicating them. I like to strive for like high results, top of the top. And the only way I can get those if I communicate it to others when I'm like, hey, I want to do this or I expect this, right? Some of these I don't want to admit, but I learned this year that I need to compromise more. And that compromise is the second key, I believe, in relationships and friendships. Nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. And it can't be your way or the highway. And you need to compromise. Next one is I opt to get out of my head. I was operating in my head and not in my heart. And I really learned this year, especially those last few months, being in my breath work. I do a lot of mindset work. And I'm very analytical and I'm very logical. And I was in my head. And this kind of brought me into another lesson was don't make decisions from emotions and ego. You kind of want to be neutral about it. You don't want to be at a high. You don't want to be a low. You don't want to be in an ego stance and a prideful or in a fear based when you're making a decision. That was another lesson. And to get into your body and into your heart and into your soul. And by doing breath work, that has allowed me to do that. And I'm going to be offering like a little sneak peek here. There will be breath work opportunities for you to learn and experience breath work with me in the new year when I finish my program. So stay tuned. But I really learned this lesson is to get out of your head, into your body, into your heart, because your soul and heart already knows. Your body knows. You feel it. And the mind is where the ego lives. So get out of it. I learned that I actually enjoy going out and being more spontaneous, and I don't always have to, do everything routine, very type A. I'm like, well, I plan on doing this at 12 o'clock. It's okay. Plans change. Go with the flow and be more spontaneous. Life is more fun that way. But then I also learned that I needed to slow down. That just because I'm aware of all this knowledge, great. But then it takes time to embody and implement. And unless you don't embody and implement, there's imposter syndrome. So I really grasped that concept this year and was like, okay, I've learned so much the last few years. Let's slow down and let's embody it. Let's implement it. Do you want to make 2022 your best year yet? Are you interested in learning how to get clear and aligned with your goals and learn how to manifest them into your reality easily? If so, I invite you to join my free 5-day workshop, Radiate into the New Year, where I will teach you my signature method on how to release the stuff that is holding you back in the past and how to create goals effectively so that you can reach them and manifest them into your life by becoming an energetic match to them. The workshop starts January 9th, and this sounds like your vibe and you're ready to take 2022 into your control and make it your best year yet. Join us. It's going to be so epic, and I'm so excited to help you reach all of your heart's desires. You can sign up now by using the link in my bio, and I hope to see you there. A few more lessons here. I know this is a little bit longer than I thought. Sorry, I talked a little bit more. This second one, I feel like really will apply to people who are constantly seeking opinions from others. As I learned, it's okay to seek opinions of others and like soundboard and like hear what they have to say, but do not allow that to override your own opinion, because only you know your own heart. Only God knows your heart. And that's why it's so important to take time alone so you can listen and be like, okay, what is it that I'm feeling? What do I want to do? What's God telling me to do? What's my next step, right? I constantly seeked opinions from people and validation because I was indecisive because I didn't trust myself. Do you see how all of these lessons kind of came into play for me this year? It was a rough year. But that it's okay to seek opinions, but not to allow it to drown out my own, because I know what's best for me. Okay, this next one is, if you are in a relationship, you need to prioritize your relationship. It takes hard work, it takes effort, communication, and time. So prioritize it, because work is totally not your number one priority. Your relationships and your friendships and your family are. I learned this year that when I feel really overwhelmed and not taken care of and my needs aren't met, that I actually shut down and shut others out in my personal life, the people that mean the most to me. That was a really hard lesson to swallow, to be honest. So I'm learning now when I'm feeling overwhelmed or feeling like I need time, to take that time for me and to communicate it to others versus shutting them down and shutting them out. This one's cute. It just says, it all works out, God. I've had a lot of instances this year, the flat tire story in Costa Rica, if you haven't heard it, me manifesting this apartment and just it falling into my lap at the perfect time when Florida apartment availability was so freaking low. It all works out. There is a group of people, God, source, angels, whatever it is you want to call it, that is working in your favor, and you just got to trust. And just remember, everything's temporary. That was a big one too. Trust. These last two are just funny, just to end it on a good note. Check your passport expiration, because going up to that second lesson I had, don't bring your entire wallet to the bar. If it wasn't for that, this kind of really shows the outskirts of synchronicities, and things do happen for a reason, always for us, because I could have been like, oh my God, poor me, my wallet, which I really didn't even freak out like that, which was amazing the first time. But if it wasn't for that, I would not have realized that when I grabbed my passport to use as an ID while I was waiting for my new one, that my passport was going to expire in a month or two. And then if I didn't have noticed that, I would not have been able to go to Costa Rica. I don't even know what would have happened. So just realize everything is always working for us in some weird way or form or another. Synchronistically, it just is. And to check your passport expiration, go check it now. Check it now. And then my last one was, make passwords hard and change them every few months. My Facebook did get hacked this year. Luckily, by the grace of God, hallelujah, it came back and I was so happy. But that really taught me, don't be attached to materialistic things. Facebook, pictures, social media, right? And make your passwords hard. All right. Well, that was a pretty big list of my lessons from 2021. I hope you kind of learned maybe some and hopefully can take them with you so you don't have to lose your wallet to then learn your passport. Or maybe this helps you in your relationship to learn to communicate better and to make sure you're taking time for yourself. Either way, I hope that this helped you in some type, way or form or another. I hope it brought some laughs. I hope you got to connect with me a little bit deeper on some things that I went through this year. At the end of the day, 2021 was a beautiful year, and it was hard for me, but nothing worth it in life comes easy. And through all these challenges and obstacles, and probably one of the most painful moments I've ever experienced in my life yet, I've grown so much, and I'm healing, because you cannot fully heal without fully feeling. And did I feel? There have been lots of emotions and lots of tears throughout this year. But at the end of the day, my top lessons have been to really make sure I take alone time and space. That effective communication is key, to not assume and expect of others, and really to continue to be honest and speak my truth, even if it's scary. And I would say those are the top 3 that I've really felt. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I really hope this saved you. I really hope this was a good episode for you. I cannot believe we are ringing in 2021. Oh my goodness, we're coming up almost on the 1-year mark of this podcast. So I'm so grateful for all of you for listening and always sharing these with those you loved, and your feedback. Please, I love your feedback. If you guys can take some time and write me an Apple iTunes review, this helps me get ranked in the charts and allow more people to find this podcast, to help bring them more value, to help them feel inspired to change their life. If there's any lessons here that you're like, oh, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my sister, my mom need to hear this, because they're not the only one, and I really want to share this with you to remind you, you are not alone when you struggle, when you go through lessons. Please send it their way. We help others by spreading information and value. And thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all so, so much. I love you. I hope you ring in the new year on a beautiful note. I can't wait to see you in 2022. And I hope you have the most radiant day. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with me and write an Apple iTunes review so I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't following me already, you can find me on Instagram at Tatiana_Kuto. I appreciate you so much and cannot wait to see you in the next episode. In the meantime, continue to shine bright and embrace your radiance.